Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So we have Shadewing out on the VN server on Radar Banner. We're going to be having him on global server in just 2 days from right now. However, so far on the VN server, people have not been very impressed with Shadewing's performance, whether it be in PvP or also in boss content. He seems to be not a very impactful hero. So let's go ahead and go through his entire skill descriptions, and then we'll talk about basically maybe what is holding him back. So he is going to be a grade 1 rogue with the range of run, a magical damage dealer. His ultimate Crimson Venom, this has a 0 pre-filled energy. It will take a while for him to cast it. When he casts it, he will inflict Crimson Venom on an enemy for 10 seconds. While affected by Crimson Venom, the enemy will take damage every second equal to 80%, plus extra damage equal to 5% of the enemy's lost health. The extra damage cannot exceed 100% attack. So this is just going to be a standard damage over time effect only onto one single target. And the thing is, it is going to take a while before he will charge up energy to even cast this. And the other problem is he doesn't have great survival in his kit. This is honestly, I think, the biggest issue about Shadewing for PvP. It is, he dies too easily, especially being a melee hero, and not having great tanky stats, not having any ability which grants him great survivability in battle, and that is holding him back to a great degree in PvP. So the next ability, Razor Talons, this has a 10-second cooldown, initial cooldown of 3. Shadewing will sink his claws into an enemy's chest, dealing 70% damage, up to 85% damage. He then rips it free, tearing the wound open and dealing again 70% or up to basically, 70% damage again, or 85% again. The enemies continue to take an amount of damage per second for the next 5 seconds. So again, this is a damage over time skill, but again, it is single target. So single target damage over time, just like his ultimate. And is that really impactful enough with all things considered? Also, most likely this is going to be attacking a frontline tank, because, you know, who's ever going to be in range of him. It does have a range of 1. Next up, we have Withering Curse. Now, this is really the most interesting ability in his kit. It will be an immediate effect at the beginning of battle. This cannot be interrupted by a Mihira Charm, for example, Iron Ultimate, anything like that. This is guaranteed to go off. Shadewing will soar into the enemy formation, inflicting Withering Curse on all enemies, so that's nice. During the flight, Shadewing is invincible, but the flight ends pretty shortly. And then Withering Curse will reduce enemies' physical and magical defense by 20% and convert any continuous damage they take into curse value. So that's why you want to pair him with other damage over time dealers like Bonnie, like Citrana. When the curse value reaches the lesser of 20% of an enemy's maximum health, or 400% of Shadewing's initial attack, the curse will lash out, dealing damage equal to 25% up to 40% of the enemy's maximum health, which is high, but the damage cannot exceed 900% of Shadewing's attack, which is also going to be very high. Each lash of this is going to be basically a high amount of damage, but do keep in mind, up until right now, this is still just magical damage. This is not going to be like, you know, pure damage, HP loss damage, or anything like that. This is magical damage up until right now. The curse will lash out at most once every 3 seconds per enemy, which, I mean, once every 3 seconds. It's a little bit infrequent. However, if the damage is high enough, there's definitely something to that. But because this is spreading it onto all enemies, it really means Shadewing is more really geared towards multi-enemy fights, whether it be AFK stages, which he's not proving usage of right now, or PvP. Because for boss content, you don't want these AoE damaging skills to be your major source of damage, because that means a lot of it is being wasted, right? If there's only one single target. So that is going to be the thing about this. So he's synergized with continuous damage dealers. However, there is a problem with the continuous damage dealers now, like Bonnie, Citrana. They really get shut down by a Mihira, for example, or even a Sylvina jumping onto Bonnie, or, you know, just crowd controlling them right from the beginning of the match. The problem really is that Bonnie and Citrana are now becoming more and more counterable with different options like coming up in the game, and that is going to limit the effectiveness of Shadewing in PvP as well. And then the other thing is that, is this damage even like needed? Because it is some like minor defense shred, which is nice, but it's not really a useful enough debuff. It's not like an attack debuff or anything like that, like Bonnie's debuff, which also improves your survival. So like Bonnie's debuff really is more impactful compared to Shadewing's debuff, enough, but Shadewing just have some extra damage. But do you really need that in your damage over time comps? You don't really need that. It's much more important to have like a way to like guarantee that your heroes can cast their abilities like Citron and Bonnie, or for example just give them more survival rather than just more damage. And that's what Shadewing is bringing to the table right now. Hero focus, really simple, just increase attack by up to 20% during battle to make him hit harder. Now his exclusive skill, this is also really interesting. Basically, his Withering Curse plus exclusive skill, this is the synergy which made Shadewing look really interesting. Every time Withering Curse lashes out, Shadewing will recover energy and permanently increase his damage out by 6%, and this is going to go all the way up to 48% if you max him out, otherwise 42% at +5 exclusive equipment. And the recovering of energy is nice because then you can cycle your ultimate, which also has more damage over time. But again, it's just for damage. When an enemy with Crimson Venom is defeated, Shadewing will reclaim the Venom's residual essence and recover 50 energy for each second of Crimson Venom's remaining duration. But again, that's like gonna be a minor thing. If you're already killing enemies, you probably have already won the match. The problem is getting him to that point. And then this level 3 plus 10 exclusive equipment convert 85% of the damage dealt by Withering Curse's Lash into true damage. This is the thing, like this true damage, and then also the fact that this is spread onto all enemies with a high multiplier, like a 900% of his own attack multiplier every 3 seconds, dealing true damage. That is really strong. But the problem is, he doesn't have any survival in his kit. He is invincible when he casts it at the beginning of the battle, but like everyone, like while the whole team is getting set up and put into place, like no one's really taking much damage, and Shadewing's gonna then come down and just die really way too quickly. This is the problem, like, and so he cannot even realize his full potential in PvP. This is what people are finding, like people are just going for Theta or Siren type teams into Shadewing full Bonnie comps, and it just kills a whole enemy team within seconds, right? So this is the issue. Shadewing has a major survival problem, and so even though he has a really interesting Withering Curse ability plus Curse Feast, and can have some massive damage, AoE damage output, the problem is it's just not realistic for him to actually do that in PvP. Now then you're thinking of, okay, how are ways that he can work in PvP? You need to protect him. Like maybe like a Dunlinger on the comp, because then he'll protect from enemy Siren, enemy ultimates, which would kill him quickly. It still will not be guaranteed, because if the enemy has this really high raw damage, like a Thalia and nuking you, you're still going to have issues. However, I think Dunlinger would probably be a really needed ally for Shadewing in PvP, because otherwise they're just going to ultimate you and kill you, and within seconds you're just going to be dead, and then that is a problem. So the enhanced force of him, when a battle starts, Shadewing targets the ally one tile in front of him and drains 10% of their current health. Okay, so he's draining health from an ally. He also gains 30% attack boost, 30 life drain, and shield equal to 500% of the HP drained, up to 500% of his attack. So this is the only kind of survival that he has in his kit, is going to be a 500% of basically he's gonna have a, because look, he's gonna drain 10% of a health of that one of his allies, so basically his own health is gonna be like 110%, and then you're also gonna get a 500% of that drainage amount shield, which is like another 50% of health. So he's gonna have like start the fight with like 150% health because of the 50% shielding of health, and then 10% extra just current health. But that is not enough. Like the problem is we have so much damage in the current meta that this is just not enough. The attack boost is again nice, but the thing is, in order for him to get his combo off and get value, he needs to survive for like at least 10, 15, and really even 20 seconds. And the way, how are you going to protect him long enough for that to happen against the crazy damage nukes we have in the meta for PvP? So that is the major issue with Shadewing, is just his survival, and so like his kit is too slow given the fact that he's just lacking survival. That is the biggest issue with Shadewing. But I just don't know. For Dream Realm, the thing is, it's just not optimal, because you're going to be wasting all of this AoE damage with only one single target. And the other thing is, other damage over time dealers are not really the most effective for Dream Realm. The only hero which sometimes sees use is Bonnie, and usually just to like power up, you know, for her debuff, which will power up Shmir's damage. And so I don't think you're going to waste 2 slots on Bonnie and Shadewing and Dream Realm when there's such other better heroes. And even if it is the case in 1 or 2 bosses, it's probably going to be power crept really soon, because it's just not enough. It's really difficult for an AoE damage dealer like Bonnie or Shadewing to compete with single target damage dealers made for Dream Realm. So that is the issue. For Ravaged Realm, I think probably he's going to be useful because you're going to have Bonnie on in Ravaged Realm, and then Shadewing just has like a great synergy with Bonnie for that. But that's basically it. So overall, I think the thing about Shadewing, we can look at him in the trial stage so you can see exactly how he works. So here he's going to swoop and then come down. And then he's susceptible to dying, right? He does have that boosted, like, you know, a bit of shielding and then also HP drainage from his Supreme Plus, but that is all he has. And that is not enough for a frontline rogue hero. Like, you look at Faramor, Faramor just died. Like, you use him in PvP for his buff, like to give a temporary buff to like a Lily May or something. But Faramor is not good in PvP because he just has survival issues. And Faramor, I believe, even starts with pre-fill energy or something. I can't remember. But basically, Faramor also has a really impactful ultimate. But like, he's just never going to ultimate in any reasonable PvP match. And that is a problem with him. So Shadewing, yeah, he has issues, major survival issues. Supreme Plus is like, it's just not enough. It's like a bandage on a gushing wound. That's basically what the Supreme Plus is. It isn't enough survival that for him to actually survive for long enough. So I'll just show you some screenshots right now on the screen of basically battles which have been done where the enemy just has like a standard Siren team or a Theodore Siren team and just destroys your whole Bonnie Shadewing team. So as of right now for PvP, he's looking very niche. He's probably not going to be fitting on many teams, and that means that he's not really even must-pull status for PvP. And for Dream Realm, he isn't, on day one, he's not being used. We obviously don't know. And in Endless Dream Realm, there's no way he's going to be used, because in Endless Dream Realm, you can have HP loss damage dealers, so we won't even know if he's good in pre-Endless Dream Realm until the next season, because we're already into Endless of basically all the bosses. So yeah, overall, Shadewing is a skip. That is basically my opinion. He, again, looked really hyped from the trailer, just like Mahira looked really hyped from the trailer, but then in reality, with their numbers and their actual performance, they are just skippable heroes, which are not really going to do anything that beneficial for your account. And so yeah, it's just going to be saving for the upcoming collab. The other thing though is that maybe now, if you have plenty of resources, now is maybe the time to consider Nazrik, because Nazrik banner is still running, and Nazrik overall is actually meta in Dream Realm. Like, I again would not say that Nazrik is must-pull status right now, because he's good, but like, he's not like making massive score increases in endless bosses. He is going to be phased out a bit. However, he's still useful in endless bosses, more useful than I thought. And so honestly, Nazrik is definitely the more meta of the two of these heroes. So if you are planning to only pull one, it's going to be Nazrik. However, at the same time, you could also just build Nazrik on the wish list. We don't have very many S-level maulers on the wish list, but Shadewing is basically a skip, and it's saving for the collab, which overall, honestly, is probably good news for most people, because now you don't, like, you have time to save. If the collab heroes are really strong, we'll be able to, like, get them maybe both to Supreme Plus. I'm hoping one will be free to Mythic Plus, just like with the Fairy Tail collab. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about Shadewing in the comment section down below. Of course, this is only day one, but it is from the testing. It is from what people have been discussing on the VN server, so he's backed by that. It's not just a speculation of his skills, but the major issue he has is survival. That is a problem, and honestly, he just doesn't have any way to deal with that. And as for the charms that he has, we have a copy on my viewer's account, so we can go ahead and take a look at his charms. My viewer, unfortunately, he did go all in on him. He didn't upgrade him yet, because I don't know what he's planning. Maybe like using a swap ticket or something. But when you look at his charm quality bonus, reduces damage. So this is probably the best charm quality bonus he can have, giving him some more survival. Increases damage dealt the first time the caster receive a fatal blow, they survive. This is, yeah, I think this is the same effect. This is the same effect as like Harok and Veilran. So this is like as good of a charm quality bonus he can really have, but still, I just doubt that he's going to have that much usage, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, that is gonna be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about Shadewing in the comment section. If you're not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There is a link to that in the description of this video. Also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Firelight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.